Viewers, I have the pleasure of introducing another new guest for PGurus today, Deepen Hiranwar. I hope, did I say that correct? Hiranwar?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay. Deepen Hiranwar. And Deepen and I got connected a few days ago. We are Sanatanis in this fight for just allowing the Dharma to flourish. It's been a very interesting year in the United States. Whatever has been playing out in India for many, many years, then suddenly raised its ugly head in the elections in United Kingdom in 2019. Yes. And now because it is election time in the United States this year, same playbook, same place, playing out, different actors, same tantrums, same fake narratives, except US is a very, very big market, lots of ways in which information gets disseminated. And I'm hoping, Deepan, that we will have this conversation periodically. We're going to have this thing live in our future talks so that we can have the audience participating. We would like to hear from you. We're going to give you some information that perhaps you have not heard before, might be very cutting edge, but I want Deepan to introduce himself and see all the great amount of work he has done. By the way, go to his webpage, his Facebook page, facebook.com/IndusLens, INDUSLENS. I just looked at it. Excellent video conversations with many, accomplished people in all walks of life. So Deepan, a warm welcome to you from PGurus channel.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be with you, and thank you for having me on your show.
So it was a very long-winded introduction. Fault is all mine. I just wanted to make sure that we kind of let our viewers know that this is the beginning of a very interesting journey. So Deepan, maybe you can bring our viewers up to date about your background, and you've been doing a lot of good work. You're sort of somebody that many of us can ask for research and on where things stand on various subjects. But remember that viewers, what we are up against, Pakistan, and at last count, as I could be wrong, Deepan, you can correct me, there are 400 different organizations lobbying their cause. So they are coming in at you from doors, windows, ventilators. Even if they have a chance, they might even come through the sewers too. That's the kind of game plan they have, ground plan they have, and it's all lies. I don't care if they criticize India for the mistakes that India does. Yeah. Fine, that will make India a better country. But what they are just lies, white lies, and even worse. So Deepan, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit, talk about your journeys thus far, and then we can take this conversation forward.
Okay. So my name is Deepan, as I got introduced, and just to tell a little bit about myself, I'm a freelance journalist, and I had, when I was in India, in Bharat, I also had worked with human rights organizations, and I also get involved into social activism. I do write. I'm a freelance journalist, and definitely we have a YouTube channel where we do interviews, and we also run a podcast. So, excuse me. So this is a little bit about myself, and I'm the founder of IndusLens, and in IndusLens, these are the subjects we look into. It's mainly we work on exposing and knowing more about anti-Hindu, anti-India propaganda and those kind of forces and organizations and people. When we started, we didn't realize how deep and mind-boggling this would be. But yes, more we got into it, we came to know. So we have a small team on board, and they do a lot of work. Matter of fact, a couple people, even not from IndusLens, they are working on these issues, and they do phenomenal good job. And sometimes they know a lot more than I do. So, yes, there are wonderful people who are working. We not only have Hindus, but we have people from other faiths working with us as well.
So Deepan, I'll just give you a backgrounder. You probably saw that video that I had with Archana Sunil about what happened at Seattle. Now, turns out, viewers, that the same playbook, same thing played out in Minnesota. The vote was unanimous, and then everybody woke up and started making a lot of noise. And now they're going to reconvene, and most likely they will again do the vote, and they might again pass this resolution. If I look at the big picture here, what they want to try and do, in isolation, if Seattle passes a resolution, nobody cares. Minnesota passes a resolution, maybe, okay, two people, so what? Then next in line I'm hearing is Austin, Texas. Then what happens is they're trying to create momentum on fake news, on false narratives, on this Islamophobia. See, the problem that you need to understand here is there is no Islamophobia. If anything, there is Hindu phobia. The Hindu phobia is being played out as Islamophobia. How many of us realize this thing?
Yes.
So Deepan, yesterday, I recorded a session with 3 students who are in various universities in the United States. Yeah. And we recounted a couple of instances where this thing is being waged on a totally new way. One was Holi. They were trying to portray Holi as an upper caste festival. What nonsense. Yeah. People don't even understand this. So for those people who are in students, they probably don't understand and they don't realize the significance of Holi, why it got started thousands of years ago, and so on and so forth. So they just slap it up. So someone has to draw a line somewhere and say, look, you are wrong about this. This is the truth about it. That was one. And we also recounted what happened when Vivek Agnihotri came calling to give a talk at Rutgers University. I'm just setting the stage here for our viewers also. Viewers, we have a series of talks planned. We are traversing the breadth and length of United States. We are talking to various people because what we are seeing is this is far more entrenched. What we are up against, CAIR. If I have to draw the main body that seems to be able to do all these stuff, it appears to be CAIR. Deepan, perhaps you can help our viewers understand a little bit about what CAIR is about, where it draws its funding from, how is it able to permeate all these different campuses? Because always students are, an impressionable lot. They can quickly get on board unless there is a dialogue, a sustained reply to rebut these things. It's very difficult. So Deepan, go ahead.
To begin with, like you introduced the subject, it has multiple what I can call dimensions to it. We cannot look through just one lens. It is like it's very, very vastly spread issue to be looked into. I'll quickly answer your question on CAIR, then I'll get into details.
Sure.
Basically, CAIR is not the organization that only works against Hindus or something. It's allegedly a global Muslim Brotherhood front face.
Yes, that's what I heard too.
They had been alleged to be raising funds for terrorist organization. They are very, very, very well connected globally in Islamic world, and they are very politically motivated, and they are having agenda for 2020. Obviously, it's an open secret that's nothing only we know, and they have talked about it. In relationship with that organization, there are multiple organizations. So to bring it to a wider perspective of this, I would classify these kind of anti-Hindu, I would refrain from taking names of a lot of these people because it doesn't help our work or to letting them know what we know.
Exactly. No, let's not. Broad strokes is good enough.
There might be, I might take here and there because I have the reason to do so because it has already been talked about. So there is nothing for.
Right.
So CAIR is connected to several other organizations. And I would like to, as I said, I categorize this into 5 to 6 different categories of work that is being done against Hindus and India. So first and foremost, people, please understand it is not the work going against India. It is predominantly work going on against Hindus. Okay, so this attack on Sanatana Dharma rather than attack on India. This is what I personally believe, and I came to this conclusion after seeing everything what I saw. So there are Islamist forces behind this. Then comes your Christian missionary forces. They play a very, very, very major role. And all this so-called Dalit activists and Dalit organization, they play a big role in this kind of image creation and maligning Hindus and India based on caste system and several other things. So and then also there are certain Sikh organizations and Sikh Gurudwaras from Canada, US, UK, those who they work very, what you call as, they have a significant work done against Hindus, and they align with Islamist and other organizations as well. Then after that, the biggest, there are also states acting in it. It is not only Pakistan. Obviously, everyone will say Pakistan is banned. Yes, they have a role to play, but they are not the only one. So people, please need to understand, Pakistan is not the only one country doing anything anti-India. You will be surprised to know what all countries are involved in this. So, and finally, the biggest thing, there are several Hindu organizations who are involved in this, playing anti-Hindu role. Okay, so for me, those are the biggest names. And there are Hindu temples who had been a part of this. And these are certain people, are presidents of these organizations, are also running Hindu temples. So if I go and make a donation, basically it will be used against me. So whenever people are coming to you asking donations, or you want to become a part just because they have a Hindu, we had seen organizations, they have Vedanta, they have Dharma, these kind of names in the Hindus, in these kind of names in the organizations, but they are like completely anti-Hindus, Hinduphobes. So this is a very, very widespread thing that works against anti-India and anti-Hindu propaganda. And there are definitely, obviously, journalists and everyone who does that. But people need to understand this issue is not something that someone decided I will hate Hindus and they went for it, right? This is a very, very well organized, professionally managed groups. And these are not one or two organizations. There are hundreds of them. There are hundreds of them working for it. And when you brought up Holi against Hindutva, it was a handiwork of not one organization, but 3 to 4 organizations together.
And they've already morphed their name into 2 new names, but go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. I know. They had a big website and everything. We know about that. So the thing is that when you're talking about this girl from Yale was put in the front.
Yes.
She's just a front face. She's being played, I guess. That's what we believe.
Yes.
She's being thrown under the bus by other people. So that is one thing. So and people need to also realize that these organizations used to work separately. Now they are making a coalitions. They are coming together. They are having hundreds of meetings and calls and whatnot. And the amount when you listen to what you talk is really, really flabbergasting. Seriously. So, and quickly on this question, I like to start this topic with saying this. So we are very fond of sending our kids to big American universities and stuff, but American universities had become a hub of Hindu hate, Hinduphobia, and anti-Hindu sentiments. Universities like Harvard, universities like Yale. There are so many of this. Every major university has this anti-Hindu forces and majorly professors in there. And this has been, if you want to, so people who are willing to go to these universities and stuff like that, they need to do some research, or else they need to be that strong to stand against these forces in the colleges. So this is basically, I think that answers your question, I don't know. That is basically, I think it should cover the points you asked me.
So Deepan, I'll ask you a simple question.
Right.
Christians are arrayed against the Muslims in practically everywhere in Middle East. They are killing the Muslims left, right, and center. Look at what happened to, what is that guy? Al-Baghdadi, right? Mm-hmm. America went and, put dogs on him at the end when he was trying to run. It's one of the worst kind of ways to die. Yet, somehow they have this potent mix in India where the Christians are ganging up with the Islamists in
Yeah.
their fight. Both are trying to convert, one by force, one by rice bags.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to understand is, don't the Christians realize that they are going to become cannon fodder at some point of time, or the Muslims, depending on who is the majority?
So Christians had already become a fodder in a lot of places. If you see Europe, UK,
Yes, yes,
uh,
Lebanon,
so, so
yeah.
so the thing that is Christians in US is not we are in contact with a lot of Christians, a lot of conservative Christians, and they understand that. But who do not, I mean, see, for example, we know people in UK, in Canada, in US, they're conservative Christian. A lot of them understand that, but people who are not understanding are this missionaries. So the only explanation for this could be given as they both look Hindus as enemies. So enemy of my enemy is my friend. But apparently Christians need to realize this sooner than later, because Hindus are their friends, not foes.
Yes, and look at the history of Lebanon. Not 30 years ago, it was 50-50 Christian, 50 Muslim. Today, I can't find any Christians anymore in Lebanon. Surely they all did not leave the country. So what happened to them? Do you have any idea?
That is good. That goes pan Islamic world. I mean, if you go to several other countries, I mean, within Arab countries, I mean, how Shias had disappeared all of a sudden.
Yes, yes, yes.
Uh, so for that, and also I would like to add to the point we are making about these organizations. There are several organizations who work under the name of Dalit organizations. Like I would like to mention one, DFN, Dalit Freedom Network, or it's called Dignity Freedom Network now. So people say, why should we worry about if it's happening in US? You need to understand they went so close of getting US to slap sanctions on India. They testified in US Congress based on the caste systems and discrimination. They work very closely with Kacha Ilaya. They work very closely with John Dayal and stuff, people like that. But it is run by his president, is Joseph D'Souza, and he's the CEO of All India Christian Council, and they also are part of a global missionary group. They run the missionary, I mean, conversion. They are part of Conversion Mafia. So all this. The hue and cry about the caste system and discrimination is just a way to cover up their conversion mafia activities, and the way to boost it based on that. And coming to that, like there are people over here who are crying about Hindutva without even understanding a inch of it. People in universities like Audrey and stuff, they're I mean, she's a very well known person connected to her her father-in-law runs a big missionary program in India, and she herself is a convert. So I mean, for us, what we had looked into so far, it comes out like all the whole. I mean, the cry about Hindutva, or creating an image about Hindutva, is basically a cover-up so that the grassroots level Hindus who are working on field to stopping this conversion mafias, if they come out, they're already malign them so much, so it is easier on the international community to call out on Hindus or Hindu forces and ban these organizations who are working against missionary work. So it is entirely planned. I mean, if you look into conversion mafias, this history, they go to areas and they learn about them. They are not just going there and preaching. They are not like this Jehovah Witness who come to your doorstep giving out,
Leaflets, yeah.
yeah, I got a good news. It's your lucky day. It's not, none of the, they are not this kind of people. They are very well organized. They go to these places. They learn about the culture. They learn the language. Then they try. So the transition of people coming, I mean, there are so many things they are using Hindu Dharma and Agni and this and that, and to people, so that they do not feel they are converted. They just say, okay, only Ishu or Jesus is your real messenger, or is your real God, whatever they believe. The point I'm trying to make is all the hue and cry about this Hindutva in US is because from the missionary side I'm talking about, because they want to cover up their activities, what is happening in India, because they had lost Europe. Let's be honest on this. Christians had lost Europe. There are churches been converted to pubs and bars left and right. They don't know how to fight the aggression they are facing today. So they had lost the war. So now we have 1.3 billion population in India. Majority, 80% being Hindus and Sikhs. That's what they're going and converting. It's not only Hindus, they're converting Sikhs. Punjab is a hub of missionary.
Yes. True.
Kerala is gone. Northeast, certain parts are gone. Tamil Nadu, certain parts are gone. But now Punjab is Punjab. The main attack is on Sikh community in Punjab by missionary.
Yes.
So, and when you ask the question about Islamists, I mean, these people, I don't see these Christian missionaries going in Europe and helping the people there, or in Africa, they had already converted.
Yeah, why are they not fighting back in Europe? What are your thoughts on that?
Because, see, Islamophobia is the best marketed word in the entire world. They have put a lot of resources. The Islamic world has no scarcity of money. Zakat is flowing, So they had put ample amount of money and resources in marketing this word, Islamophobia. In United States, anyone is scared to utter the word Islam because they don't want to be tagged as Islamophobic. And on the other hand, when Hindu phobia is so prominent and it is talked about, it was talked about the presidential candidate of United States.
Yes.
Tulsi Gabbard talked about it, how she faced the discrimination, and she did. It is so evident that she was discriminated based on her religion. She was attacked by Democrats and Republicans, both at the same time.
Maybe we should touch upon it a little bit because not all the viewers may be following the US politics so closely. You've had a ringside view. Perhaps you can summarize Tulsi Gabbard's fight. I mean, they never gave her a podium to discuss with the other Democratic candidates. I think that she just got on only on 2 or 3. On one of those things, she was very effective. She basically derailed the presidency of Kamala Harris, if you ask me. I could be wrong about this, but perhaps you can summarize her challenges, how she was in Hillary Clinton's time, 2016, when she was running for president. Remember, she got banned. Remember that time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So perhaps we can start from there. Tulsi has had to fight very, very hard. Why don't you share with our viewers what you've seen Tulsi's battles?
So for me, Tulsi ji is like. So here I will start. When we talk about political representation of Hindus, it's a big lack that in the United States politics scenario. Because definitely Democrats are not, because predominantly when I used to write for a media house, we did a survey back in 2012, and overwhelming 90-some percentage of Indian Americans vote for Democrats, we came to know in the survey.
Yes.
But now as I got more into knowing these things, Democrats do not represent Hindus at all. I cannot generalize Democrats, but majority of Democrats, including Indian American politicians, which are, I think, who are more Hindu-phobic than anyone else.
Backstabbers, I call them.
Yeah, right. I mean, you see Ro Khanna going and sitting in a Pakistani caucus.
Yes.
So, but anyways, coming back to the question with Tulsi.
He is researching the competition.
Oh yeah, definitely. Tulsi ji, which I think when I said, and Republicans had a chunk of this conservatives who are part of this missionary groups and stuff, right? So that part, neither that part nor the Democratic Hindu-phobic part likes Tulsi, because she is the only upfront, well-known U.S. politician in the scenario on Capitol Hill, right? So that is her religion played the biggest role in this. She getting called out on different occasions. Even the media houses, the big media houses are Hindu-phobics. I mean, I'm not talking like someone on. Just because I'm talking, we look into these things, we analyze these things, so I know that. excuse me. But with Tulsi, as I said, I don't think if she was if she happened to be a Muslim, I think she would have been stuck to the race till the end, and who knows, she might have won the ticket as well. So so definitely Hindu phobia is very real, and if a person like Tulsi Gabbard, a renowned politician, can be a victim of that, forget about a person like you and me or the kids in the universities. So she has gone through a very big series of attacks from the opposition and from her own party as well. So that shows what kind of hate for Hindus is deeply inculcated inside the minds of a general American population. And it has been marketed. It is not that Americans started hating or something, because it has been marketed. It has been marketed using media. It has been marketed using the organizations. They have multiple seminars, and there's talks in universities. Recently, there was these people. There was this some music director or something from Bollywood. I forgot his name. Him with that so-called journalist. Her name is Arfa. They were here giving shows, and then.
You're talking about Rahman? Yeah, Rahman.
No. He's some name Hydri.
I see.
Yeah, I didn't know, never heard about him before this thing happened over here. And they came, and we had our people in that place, and we came to know what kind of things were talked about, and it was just really upsetting and mind-boggling, the venom against Hindus. And these events were sponsored by Godrej and Kotak Mahindra and NPS, stuff like that. So these are big Indian companies who are sponsoring anti-Hindu events in the United States.
How come they didn't do their research work, or was it like a CSR budget being allocated by some lowly person? How did that happen?
It happens because Hindus don't know about it. Hindus don't make a noise.
Yes, ignorance. Right.
Hindus don't make a noise.
Right.
Hindus come out and say, "I'm going to ban Godrej," or I'm not going to purchase their product. Period.
Right. What we are going to do as part of this viewers, we are going to give the link to that particular concert that Deepan is referring to, so that you make your own conclusions. This is important. They need to understand. Sometimes they don't realize the ramifications of some of these decisions. They might think, oh, it's just 10 lakhs here, 5 lakhs here. So what? This is a good guy. Let me just give it. But it's being used against you. Godrej and Anand Mahindra, they're all good people. I don't think they intended. I don't think they intended this consequence, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so it is so tangled up altogether. It is very difficult to cover everything, because I would start talking on one thing and then it clicks on, because it is connected to the other thing. Then I have to explain that as well.
Yes.
Sometimes if I deflect from your question, just bring me back to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's
tangled, because if I'm talking on one issue, it is connected to the other issue, and this issues for people who do not are not pretty much into this. It would be difficult for them to grasp everything, because now I'm talking about radical Islamists. Now all of a sudden I jump on the mercenaries, but these things are intertangled. Like it's so it's difficult to explain. So I have to explain like sometime if it is connected to any other.
Right. Now the long and short of it is, poor Tulsi, I don't think she's even going to be contesting 2020 from her own home seat, because evidently that itself is becoming very tough for her. So they have gone back to where her roots are, in Hawaii. They're making sure she won't even come back to Congress.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's the reason Hindus, I know few people are working on it. I don't know how far they had gone. You need your representation on Capitol.
Yes. So Raja Krishnamurthy, in one of his fundraising trips, summarized it best. He said, if you are not at the table, you are on the menu.
Exactly. Fantastic. Yes.
So the sooner Hindus realize that they need to be sitting at the table, right now they are on the menu. I mean, the proof is Tulsi Gabbard's experience. And yeah, go ahead, please go ahead.
No, no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So the one candidate who's been around for 10 years or so, Tulsi Gabbard, 8, 10 years, give or take,
Give and take.
she ticked all the right boxes. She had seen action. She has worked for the armed forces, so that's a big plus. That appeals to Republicans, the conservatives, right? And then plus she was very dharmic in her approach. A lot of times she would refer to Bhagavad Gita, her experience with Hinduism and Sanatana Dharma. That kind of stabilizes you. If nothing else, think about it. She's only 38, 39 now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she's wise beyond her years, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, a few false moves here and there, but other than that, she's been a really nice candidate. I feel bad that she's not, she's being cherry picked. I mean, she's being, what should I say? She's being targeted, exactly, targeted because she is declared herself as a Hindu. You're going to say something. Sorry, go ahead.
That sums up everything. She just got targeted. And she just she had to drop out of her race, obviously, because of a lot of other issues. It might be because she was not getting that momentum as she expected. She just got targeted because she is a Hindu. There is no other explanation for that. I don't see any reason, because I had followed the presidential debates. And I mean, there are some people do not even belong on that stage. There are certain people who do not even belong on the stage. Their knowledge about international relations and, it is just like mind-boggling. I mean, you are a presidential candidate. You don't belong there. And Tulsi was like just phenomenal in her debates or in her work. I mean, if you see her work, she had done a pretty good job. But unfortunately, everything is a ball game of the money, and the lobby backs you up, so that is it. She got targeted because she is a Hindu.
And I know a lot of groups selflessly work towards trying to get her campaign funded. Unfortunately for us, I see this is a fault of Hindus. We are 4 to 6 million depending on who you talk to. Of those, probably half of them are not still citizens of the United States. They cannot vote, because today an average Hindu takes about 15 years before he can get a green card.
Right.
And another 5 years before he becomes a citizen. So you see that there's a long wait here. And many came around 2000, 2001, at which point green card process became very, very long.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
Yes.
And some of the hardest working people that I know of, wedded to their jobs and giving extra mile, extra ounce. Even today in this coronavirus days, they are some of the hardest working people I've seen. But unfortunately, they are not able to coalesce together to channel this energy and see what best can be done as a cause. I'm hoping that PGurus and also Indus Lens and a few other organizations in the US, all we are trying to say is treat us as equals.
Exactly.
There is nothing right now. We're being trampled upon, lynched upon. You don't like the word lynched? I feel I'm being lynched upon right now. That's exactly how I feel. So so Deepan, today we talked about CAIR and some of these organizations. I think what I'd like to do is to bring you back maybe for a more detailed discussion about, first off, USCIRF. I am now they are up their rhetoric a little bit more. What they don't want to talk about is the neighboring country of Pakistan, where 3 girls are being forcibly converted through rape. Sometimes they even get killed. And these are across. They comprise all the minorities: Christians, Sikhs, Hindus. And you cannot wish this problem away. There are 7 million Hindus still stuck in Pakistan. India cannot absorb them. They're trying to get 1,000 a month. And that itself is very difficult, because when they come to India, who is going to give them new job? So their status of life doesn't improve, other than the fact that they are not having to worry about their daughters when they come of age, what will happen to them. And there is this one rascal in Sindh called Mia Mittu, and somehow nobody wants to acknowledge this guy's presence. You just have to look at some of his videos, the way he's been taunting and doing things. You have Abdul Hafiz Saeed, all sorts of lumpen elements are sitting in Pakistan, and yet the US government keeps on giving them money. the strategic reasons. And I don't think India also covered itself in glory by sitting out these talks with Afghanistan. When US came asking for a helping hand, McMaster's practically begged Nirmala Sitharaman that we need your help in settling the Afghanistan issue. And having said that they will, when they came visiting to US, they go back to India and then change their mind. This is what really ticks off United States politicians. They think that Indian politicians don't stay on a topic. They keep changing their mind. I'm saying this for the first time openly because I want, if it stings, I want it to sting. Understand, this is serious stuff. If you say something in the US, and then you go back and then you don't adhere to that, nobody's going to take you seriously. So, Deepan, I don't know if have you heard of that thing, that there was a promise that India will work with the US in Afghanistan, and only when McMaster comes calling, it's a world fast on our part?
Yeah, I vaguely heard about it. I don't know too much into detail, but I had heard about it.
Yeah, and every time on YouTube channel of PGurus, when I bring up this thing that the Indian armed forces need to be participating in Afghanistan, because you call yourself the third largest economy on PPP basis, act like one. You got to have that. These people are going to cause problems tomorrow if you don't do. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. So two things real quick on the subject you talk about. So US need to realize sooner than later. I think so far as I had been in the United States, I've been looking around. I think President Trump is the only person who talked about defunding Pakistan, and he did.
Yes.
So US need to understand India is their friend, not an enemy, and stop their agencies working and calling out on India, and rather than start helping and being with India. This is number one. And number two, India need to understand, if they want to become a global power, you cannot sit in your house and become a global power. You should have a global ambition. United States do not sit in United States and talk about being a global power. They are all around the world. Their army is involved in everything. Wherever they think the Navy is involved, they have bases all around the world. So India do have bases outside, obviously, but India is not involved so much into, playing or acting like a global power. India, when I say, if US is having these agencies who are keeping a watch on religious freedom, why cannot India have one in a foreign affairs, ministry or external affairs ministry? Why cannot you have your own global watch? Why you cannot have your own reports?
Yes, of course. Absolutely. Yeah. These are all things that we need to mull over. It's not easy being a superpower. You have to act like one, and you have to sometimes come down hard on some things.
Oh, yeah.
And we are going to have a very interesting discussion again with Deepan soon on USCIRF and a few other topics. Remember, this is just the beginning of election season in the United States, and there's a lot of stuff that's coming your way. Thank you so much, Deepan, for joining our channel today.
Thank you.
And thank you very much. And viewers, please subscribe to YouTube channel of PGurus. Thank you very much.